Stonehouse Bar. I'm your host, Alexander Morris, and this is my beautiful co-host, Miss Bianca Lauren.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. We're at the Stonehouse.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, pretty much, this is a open forum where we bring in our friends and family and guests from the music industry, from every aspect. And we just sit around and we talk and we give information, lend support to each other, and try to give a synopsis of what this music industry really is. And so, to start, on the end, we have Mr. Turhan Terrell. He is the director of the Four Tops Orchestra, singer, songwriter, producer, plays everything, even the oboe. Yeah, come on, oboe. Next to Turhan, we have the illustrious, the incomparable, Miss Nikki Tillman.
Hey.
One of the foremost background singers in the industry, Joe Cocker, and the list goes on. Next to Miss Tillman, we have the Heatmeister.
Yes.
The Marcus Divine. Yeah, Heatmeister. Is that what you want? Okay. Has worked with everybody from Destiny's Child all the way to one of his last great accomplishments as the musical director for the Millennium Tour. We're so glad to have Marcus with us.
Yes, thank you, Marcus.
We got the drum roll drummers. Smoke is in the building, y'all. Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. Yes.
And then sitting right here, the beautiful,
Yes.
covered with the mask, practicing social distancing. We got Miss Cherry Black.
Cherry Black.
She's a phenomenal singer, songwriter. She is the lead background singer for Miss Katy Perry, and she's a sweetheart.
Everything tastes better with cherry.
And everything tastes better what? With a cherry on top.
Hello.
We're so glad to be here with y'all. We're filming with WJZZ Cool TV, Mr. Roger Penzambi Jr. And so, Detroit, you need to be paying attention. World, look out, we're on our way for you. So listen, our basic open topic tonight is we're talking about the music industry. So basically, welcome to the music industry. And all of these people are getting ready to share, and we're getting ready to talk, and they can say what they want to say, move how they want to move, and we're going to have a good time. So, welcome to the music industry. I'm going to start with Marcus.
Okay.
Come on, Marcus. Come on, Marcus. You first on the list.
All right.
Come on, be
What's your
yourself.
view of the music people perceive the music industry? You have a lot of young people, and even people of all age brackets, that this has been their dream. They want to do this, but they find out coming in that what they thought this was, it isn't. And they find it to be something totally different. Talk to me, bro.
I think the misconception is it's all glamorous, and nobody ever really pounds into people about the hard work and about the tough skin that it takes. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Doing this so long, you hear a million no's. But if they don't become your fuel, you will definitely run out of gas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I've heard a million no's, but it's those yeses that got me sitting here at this table today. Like, you know what I mean? If I would have gave up.
Right. Let me ask a quick question, and this goes to everybody. Like Marcus just said, he's heard a million no's. And then he said the yeses open up doors.
Yeah.
But sometimes is a yes the right yes?
Nice.
No, I mean, that's like anything. A yes could definitely could be where you should have said no. Like you should have said no.
Like you should have said no.
Not, instead of them telling you no. But that's like in anything in life, relationships. The girl could look like a yes until you get with her and you like, no! You know what I mean? So I think it's the same thing in the music business. You don't know, and once you get into it, the deal they could pull up and be like, this Rolls Royce yours, this house is yours, this such and such yours, but you gotta. You know what I mean?
You gotta pay that price at the end of the day.
And then you gotta determine, is that a yes or a no for you? Nobody, I can't determine what's a yes or a no for Nick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I may not do what Nick be willing to do. She may not do. She may not do what I want her to do.
Really? So, Nikki, what are you willing to do?
But you just tell us.
Wait a minute now.
Nikki, since we to put you all the way out there on the spot. I mean, your view of the music industry from the career that you have had and that you're still having. Like, what was the preconception that you had coming into it, what we all did when we came in wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, like, oh my God, I got my first gig. I'm about to, and then you find out that really ain't a tour bus. We in an upright.
You're right. We're an 18-passenger van.
We in an 18-passenger
You
van.
driving to New York.
Yeah, well, it's like, number one, I feel like in this industry, you have to have the passion for it. Once you have the passion for what you do, some of that stuff kind of supersedes itself. It's like, I've been on tour buses that you hate, and I've been on tour buses where it's thebomb.com.
Right.
So I just think that you have to be willing to sacrifice in the beginning.
Right.
In the beginning, you have to be willing to sacrifice. The passion that comes from you will supersede all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that determination. You have to have that drive. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the beginning will not be five-star hotel.
Right.
Don't think it will. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't for me. I started from literally the bottom and went up to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of grind.
Right.
Grind and network.
Grind, and my network game is hell of a.
See, since you stepped in, go ahead.
Yeah.
Give us, because one thing about Turhan, he's not just been successful in the States, but lived overseas in Japan for several years.
Yeah.
Writing and producing, and with a different barrage of artists. What is your view when you talk about the music industry as it correlates against what we see in Western versus what you see over there?
Nice.
It's a big difference, man. Over there, listen, if you had a deal over there and I had a choice of a deal over here, I'll take this one over here. Because over there, they're going to dog the mess out of you.
Wow.
Their artists, up until, when I got to Japan, maybe 2 years after I got there, up until that point, the government took publishing from everybody. Nobody,
Are you
bro.
serious?
Nobody
Y'all
got
hear what you just
publishing.
said? Say that again, T. That got to be
Yeah, so we talking about the 90s. Yeah, up until late 80s, early 90s, nobody got publishing. The government took it all. But there was this one writer, Ted Tudor, who had 10 number ones in the top 25. And he fought. And from that point on, they won, and now they're starting to give their publishing. But their artists their artists are on a salary. I don't care how much they do. It's a $70,000 salary, and I'm talking about that's like A-list artists.
Wow.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
on a salary. You can do 90,000 shows in a year. Guess how much you're gonna make that year?
$70,000.
$70,000. If you don't have that, if you don't have your team behind you and trying to get your merchandise and marketing for you, man, you can forget it.
So when you look at the music industry and like
But
Hey, you
But
said it.
right, you quit. But it's for some of them, it's the love of just being able to do it, to be the celebrity.
Wow.
And we don't get it, because it's like, we grew up over here like, no, I know I'm supposed to be making a couple mil by now.
That's their sacrifice.
Man, woo.
that goes back to what Nikki was talking about, passion. I'll be honest. I don't know if my passion is that great that you're gonna take my publishing from me.
No, my
and I'm
passion
selling out
is not
arenas
that
and you
great.
gonna give me $70,000. You just made $70,000 that night.
Exactly.
But you're right. They
But
make,
see, that passion comes from that push when you're younger.
Right.
Let's be clear.
Right.
That's real good. That passion comes when you're younger, I believe. Right now, I got the passion, but I got my business sense at the same time.
Because where does passion meet stupidity?
There you go. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're younger, when you're in your teens and your 20s, I was out there.
Right.
I probably should have been making a whole lot more money than what I was making.
Right.
Actually. Right? Right now, though, where I am, with the business sense, the passion is there, but I'm more of the business sense now because I know what I'm worth.
Right. And that's where I was going. Cherry. Cherry's probably the youngest of us sitting here.
Yes.
But
Probably.
she's one of the probably is. But she's probably one of the foremost when it comes to background singing. And I tell her all the time, she's ahead of herself age-wise in her maturity.
Yeah, she is.
To handle the type of position that she handles, and then to handle it with the grace that she does,
Absolutely.
but it's so humble. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A lot of folks couldn't be with the type of star that she's with and be the main and then not go to your head. But Cherry, how was it with you coming into the industry? Because you're kind of almost like a Cinderella story in some regards, because it was almost your first tryout and you got the big fish.
Oh, I'll get the mic. Oh, hey y'all. Yeah, it's crazy because like my first gig was Katy Perry. So I was just thinking about how you were talking about tour buses. It's like all I know is really nice tour buses. All I know is like top hotels. Like that's all I know. So
Okay.
I have been very spoiled. And it hasn't been nothing but God, because who does that? Like who
Absolutely.
their first thing is like the top,
Yeah.
one of the top
Yeah,
people, artists. And it's been crazy. Like I
That's a
definitely
blessing.
went into it a lot more relaxed than I expected myself to be.
Because you were an A-class artist.
It's weird, like, cause
Right.
and
Ain't nothing, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
the audition was, well, the thing is the person I was auditioning for is somebody I had been working with in the studio on some TV stuff.
Okay.
Way before the Katy thing. And and I don't want anybody to get confused that, hey, oh, you got it because you know the MD. No. She is not that type of artist. If she don't like you, she don't like you. If she wants you, she do what she want, right? So I still had to audition, but I auditioned, I was cool. She wasn't there the first day. Second day, I walked in, shook her hand. She looked me in my eyeballs. I'm Katy. I said, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Cherry. Sang a little bit of, y'all know. Y'all been on auditions. You sing 2 seconds of the song. They're like, okay. Then you sing 5 seconds of the next song. Okay. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, what? Okay. Because she wasn't there. I'm like, well, you don't want to sing no more? No. She was like, no, you're good. I was like, wow. So I walked out, and I was kind of like one of the first callbacks that day. Right. So I literally was just sitting in the other room waiting, like, okay, so, this is interesting. So I waited, and I didn't have a ride. Like, listen, y'all, I flew myself to LA off my savings account. I did not have no job. I did not have no job.
Absolutely, Cherry.
And so I didn't have money to rent no car when I got there. So I was like waiting on the shuttle to come from the little hotel. It was a raggedy hotel. And listen, he came down the hallway, said, the job is yours if you want it. I was speechless for a few seconds. He was like, I need a verbal yes out of your mouth. I was like, yes. I got snatched in a room with the assistant tour manager. She was like, I need to take your picture for a visa. I was like, okay. And she was like, I need your passport. And it just went on from there. It just, it was so fast. I came home for a few days, and then I moved to LA for 2 months and rehearsed, and the rest is history. It's been going ever since.
All right.
That's the dynamic that I see a lot of times with the industry. It's not a set pattern of what's fair or what works for this one may not work. But the one thing that I do know about all of us sitting here that we're about to jump with smoke is that you have to be willing to invest in you. You follow what I'm saying? You know, a lot of artists have a mentality of they're looking for somebody to believe in them enough to put their money up. But from a business perspective,
Yeah.
if you're not willing to sow or to invest in yourself,
There you go.
what makes you think
Somebody
that somebody else is going to invest in you? Smoke, you being with Arrested Development, one of the top drummers, from your position, and like I grew up in church, like most of us did. We grew up starting off playing drums or keyboards or whatever, singing at church, and it developed into something. You know, where do you see it from the standpoint when you were the kid that was watching the drummer to finally get a chance to be the drummer, to becoming the drummer?
You know something, like that's crazy because I actually started playing drums in church, like most people. You know, there was a line of drummers,
Right.
and I was the youngest one. So of course I was the drummer. I had to wait until the preacher, you know. So I was the cymbal drummer, you know, cymbals. I was the cymbal drummer, and somehow he started preaching and. They started shouting from his preaching. And so the guy, normally I would get, you know, the other guy would, move. But I was like, no, man, I got it. Let me try it. And I did it. And that, like, you know, my elevation went up a little higher. You know what I'm saying? So it came from, you know, there being at least 7 or 8 drummers. That was the drummer. And then years later, I met these guys.
Right.
These 2 guys right here.
These
I was
guys.
14, 15 years old. So I had been a church drummer up until I met these guys.
Right.
And I was still a church drummer because we were
Right.
doing gospel music,
Yes.
you know.
Right.
But it was like, it wasn't church, it was like shows.
Right.
And they molded me. These 2 guys right here, they molded me. And I actually got the name from these 2 guys. 'Cause my name is Lamar, but they started calling me Smoke.
Right.
And it just stayed with me. And so from these 2 guys, you know, a lot of touring when we didn't have tour buses. Well, no, we would do some road shows, but there was no tour buses. It was a grind. It was a grind.
Right.
And for me, I appreciate my grind. So no matter what show I've ever done with Arrested Development, like I remember my grind in Detroit.
grind
I remember
in
the guys who made me.
Yeah.
You know, Detroit is in my heart. You know, so to forward to Arrested Development.
Move your hair up your mic.
Oh,
You good. There you go.
so to forward to Arrested Development. Those tours were pretty good. Arrested Development, they took me literally around the world. Like
Right.
I have, like my first passport was filled up, but then my second year with them,
Right.
I had to get the book passport for my second passport. But I've literally been blessed to travel 6 out of 7 continents with these guys. You know, and I'm thankful for that because I remember where I started.
Right.
You know, and
How did that audition start? Where did they find you? What was that?
now this is crazy because Arrested Development. It was a festival in Atlanta. What's the name of this festival? What's the name of this?
It don't
festival?
matter.
Yeah.
He's getting
Anyway,
old people.
yeah, it's a
Atlanta
festival.
Festival.
So
Festival
It's all right, as long as it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They got their props.
my
Atlanta
fault. Yeah.
Festival.
So I was playing for a blues artist named Mudbone Turner. And somehow Arrested Development was the band that came on after us. I didn't understand hip hop and blues. So after that show, they asked me to come in and audition. They didn't send me the music. I wasn't prepared. They didn't send me anything until the last moment. So at that time, you know, I was with my mother-in-law here, so I couldn't focus on the music. They just did it at the last minute. So when I went to go audition, I didn't make it. But they called me to fill in for them. And I made sure I was on my A game. Made sure. Long story short, I got the gig, and I've been with them for 7 years, and you know, it's been a blessing.
It's one of those things where I think all of us can say, sitting here, preparation is everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, we don't. I was literally, that's what was in my,
That was what
in
you
my
were
mouth.
thinking? Right.
Smoke said preparation is everything. And I want to say one thing, when Sherry was talking, she was saying, I don't want nobody to feel like I didn't know they do like just giving to her. One thing, I tell people, don't feel bad about that. Relationships is everything, and you can think hard work is everything in this business if you want to. Relationships is everything in this business, and I'll say, you gotta be a good person. That's number one. Because ain't nobody gonna gamble.
They're not gonna gamble on
You're
you.
terrible.
Yes.
They're not gonna gamble with their money either. They're just not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
You know, one thing, sing with the Four Tops, and I say this publicly all the time, that I thank my brother Turhan, because Turhan was the catalyst that brought me to that point. But one thing I recognized is that if a person puts their name up for you, it's your responsibility to make sure that you do what you need to do so that you preserve their name. And that's the thing that I find like in the industry, and especially with a lot of younger cats that are coming up in the game from different perspectives. Do y'all seem like to y'all that people have a sense of entitlement?
Especially with
Y'all know me, I'm an agitator, so y'all just gonna have to bear with me. But they have a sense of entitlement. I don't think people understand what really paying dues is. You follow what I'm saying? A lot of us, we've had to do this for a long time, unrecognized, before you got
We
it.
also didn't have the social media we got today.
True.
And we
You
all
think that changes? You think that changes the dynamic too?
Absolutely.
they don't have to put the work in.
They don't have. It's quick. There you go,
So
Bianca.
for Turhan to be who he was, Turhan, and I can vouch that I'm using him as an example. We literally lived in the same house for years together.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I know him sitting up learning this course, figuring this out, to not having somebody where he could stop the computer and learn it. Which means Turhan had to watch other people, Turhan had to be around other people, Turhan had to listen when he didn't want to. Now you got cats who don't have to listen. They can watch the video and learn. They got skills with no people
No
skills.
people skills. Yeah.
Wow. I love
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you call them and you're on a gig, I'm a different MD. If you mess up my show, you may get what you do it.
You definitely getting it from me.
I'm trying to be nice.
And let me tell you something about this one. This one here, this one here has
He the lead singer. I go from him.
Me and this dude are standing on. We got a whole band and horn section.
Absolutely.
Now you would think lead singer, Four Tops, musical director. He's hollered at me like I'm 3.
He will.
And I'm doing this.
But the MD has the right to do that.
But the thing is, if your
But that's that relationship.
No, but if your title of lead singer make you obsolete or makes you feel like
Make you feel like you should be hollered at.
You don't
There you
belong
go.
there.
Then you shouldn't be the
You know
lead
why he's
singer.
hollering?
Because he wants the best.
Because he wants the best, and that's why he's the MD.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I noticed with a lot of singers, with a lot of musicians. They love the adoration and the adulation. They love being said, "Oh, you're the best."
Right.
But when somebody tells them that's not it,
Right.
you see a different dynamic with them. Because many of them, what you said in the beginning, 1, thick skin, 2, very easily butthurt.
Right.
They take everything personal. This is not personal.
This is not personal.
business.
This is business.
This is another thing. And I've been blessed. I've always been a creator. And they'll tell you, they've been around me my whole life. I built my own first studio at 16 years old in my basement.
Right.
Like, I'm the dude that's going to be like, if you don't give me, I'm going to create. So that I don't run into a whole bunch of, I can't believe what they did to me. You know what I mean? But most people are not willing, as you said earlier, to invest in themselves and gamble on themselves. You know what I mean? That's what helped make our skin tough. We had a production company at 17 years old that we didn't care if nobody put us on. We did our own records.
We did our own.
Like, you know what I mean? That
We were sweet to us.
We were
Yeah, it was sweet to us. Yes, I love
We
that.
wasn't going around saying,
Yes.
do you think we don't? No, we give a damn if
You
you
don't
don't.
give a damn if you don't or don't.
Dude, I'm the
If you
hottest
don't or
joke in
don't.
6 blocks, dude. I'm the hottest joke in 6 blocks.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. But the one thing in our generation, not saying that we all that old, but in our generation, because most of us grew up together. Sorry, Cherry. Is that we had a camaraderie. amongst each other that was
man.
different.
It was so
And growing up in Detroit is a church city.
Yeah.
And I would say almost 85 to 90% of your musicians, your singers that move on to do other things outside of church, most of us cut our teeth
Yep.
in church.
Absolutely.
It's a high number for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I remember going to one of the churches, and I won't mention the name of the church, but this is where they used to have a lot of the big musicals at. And I remember you had like 30 seconds to be sweet,
Yep.
or they start throwing pennies
Oh my God.
at you from the balcony. You'll be singing and hear ping, ping. That means, or if you was on the one of the musicians, and the musicians walk through the door,
Oh, you got to get up.
you got to get
Yeah,
up.
you got to get
I
up.
watched
You gotta get up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and unplug you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to get up.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We had to learn.
Yes.
We had to learn on the fly.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying?
I remember
But the thing
those.
about it was, with us, it didn't matter your denomination, your background, or whatever. We invested in each other because I could call Marcus
Anytime.
at any time, and Marcus come over to my house, or I go over to Marcus' house. You know what I'm saying? Or running the tea somewhere, and we collab together and show each other how to do different things versus competition. My thing is, when I say welcome to the music industry, it encompasses all that. Where are we now when it comes to the competitiveness? Competition is good on one end,
Yes.
but competition can become crabs in a bucket,
Yes.
where we begin to hate on each other.
Yes.
And we begin to sabotage each other's careers
Right.
because I want that spot.
Exactly.
So where are we now as musicians, singers in our city, but even in the scheme of things when it comes to the industry? Like, where do y'all think we sit? Are we still the cats that help each other? Are we the cats now that it's all about me because I gotta set my brand?
I think it's both.
Thank you. I agree.
I think it's both. I think there are people that recognize value
Right?
in the industry, and then there are people that are immature with the value,
Okay.
and they don't know how to respond.
Okay.
You understand? And so I think that when you meet the right person, they're able to take you to the right place. When I met T, he just became my best friend.
Right.
And he showed me so many different things, talked to me about certain things. Everybody's not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think it's both. What do you guys think?
I
Yes,
don't,
you
I don't,
agree?
I don't think it's, I don't think it's competition.
She with that look.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, man.
Wanna go?
No, go ahead, bro.
I don't even recognize the competition no more.
Right.
And when I say that is, it's social media, like Big Bro said the other day, a little while ago. Social media kind of did that. Like, everybody don't even know they're in competition, so you don't even see the competition like old artists still do.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the verses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see, because everybody, Instagram is, oh, Sherry got a record coming out. Soon as you scroll, you go, oh, Smoke got a record coming out. I forgot Sherry had a record coming out that quick. We live in an instant world
Right.
that there is no competition. It's no, you just hope I remember your spot. It ain't really no branding that you remember.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as far as us saying, do we still help each other? Yeah, if I call you, you come through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But ain't nobody trying to build
Build
anything.
nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. It's
That was part of the
no, it's no
purpose.
empire building.
Right, well, that's
I
part
want
of
to hear.
the. Go ahead,
I
Nikki.
wanna hear. Come on.
When it comes to the city of Detroit,
Speak on it.
when it comes to the city of Detroit, there is competition where there needs not to be any competition.
That's good also.
Right. You're not censored here. You say what you want to say.
Exactly. Like there's no competition here. The thing that we lack here in Detroit
Okay.
is the support, is the like, okay, for instance, Cherry. She's got to be at least 18, 15 years younger than me. However, when we ever do something together, I support her. I support her husband, but that's because I'm from a different,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm that. In Detroit, there is not a lot of support for each other, period.
Exactly.
Never has
It's a
been.
lot of
And there never has been. We need to get to a level, but you will not ever get to that level unless you enlarge your territory.
Right.
That's
Yep.
true.
You just won't get there because being and how the atmosphere is, how the environment is,
Right.
or whatever it is, we're hard on each other.
Right.
We're very hard on each other. Yeah, I want to see you come up. Hey, yeah, I'm at the gig. Oh, girl, you did good. Girl, did you see that bitch?
Exactly. Quickly.
Nah, she ain't do that run how she was supposed to do
But
it.
that's the ones that don't understand.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't get it.
That is Detroit, but we are hard on each other. The moment that we begin to see that when I uplift you,
Yeah.
that I'm actually uplifting myself.
Do you
When I uplift you,
Right.
when I uplift you, then you know what I can do is I can start getting that back.
Right.
And then it's like this big haystack.
Yeah.
It's a haystack that comes in like support and this and this. They have that in other cities. They have
Right.
that in other states. They have that in other countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was telling, there's a young lady that has been mirroring our organization because they're doing a movie.
Oh.
And she asked me to write a synopsis, an overview of a scene for her. And so when I wrote it and I read it to her, she began to rebuttal because of her view of what Motown, Detroit, and all that is. My thing is, and I told her, I said, you have an innocence and you have an unknowing that is beautiful for what that is. I said, but I'm not the person to write this for you.
Right.
Ah, how about that one?
Right.
And she said, but I think, I said, no. I said, because what you see
Her perspective.
are perspectives.
Yes.
What I know is reality.
It's reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
This ain't what you think
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
You are enamored and in awe
Yeah.
of
Yes.
the legends, all of the
lights,
all
the glitz,
lights,
the glamour,
that this is
the
and-
fantasy.
Okay, for those of us that grew up here,
Yeah, it's not that.
it's not that. What you see as, 'cause she made a statement. She was like, well, this is a positive element that came out of, I said, no, you see that as a positive. For us, that's not a positive. That's called gentrification. You follow what I'm saying? We're seeing great development, yes, but at what cost? At what expense?
Yes, come on.
You follow what I'm saying? I think a lot of times in the music industry, it's just what you said. It's a lot of times perspective. It would be very easy for someone to have aught with Cherry
Yeah.
because she may not have had to necessarily
Do
go through what we went through. So then we want to say she doesn't deserve it. But then here's the question that I asked, and any of y'all can take this. But you don't know what that person has dealt with in their life
Absolutely. What price she already
that they've
paid.
already paid
Absolutely.
that may have had nothing to do with the music industry per se, but had everything to do with the success in the industry.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it even matters.
Okay.
That's what I think we live.
Go ahead, Mark.
Come on, Mark. It's in
Go
there.
ahead.
Come on,
Come on
man.
out.
We live our life so much for other people.
We do.
Yeah.
People
And
pleasing.
How the fuck do you determine what I should have?
Right.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I mean, and I meant that fuck really. Like,
Yes,
I really
please.
meant
Yeah, I
that.
know you did.
Strongly.
Like-
It was so.
Yes.
How?
Accent.
No, I mean, I'm serious. Like,
Right.
and because it's
It's the
not
truth.
just even about the music business, the way I came out like this. Everything in life. Why do you even have a gauge for Cherry?
Exactly.
Like, what?
Hello.
How did you create your gauge?
Yeah, how did you
for
even do
Cherry
that? Like,
to
why?
determine what
Yeah,
she
that's
deserves
Right. And why
for
you
whatever
should
the
be
case may be. I don't
Right.
care if Cherry said, I think I'm going to sing tomorrow, and she starts singing tomorrow and be like, yo, she got a gig. Who am I to go, she don't deserve it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Then on the flip side, if your ass been doing it this long and you ain't got shit, maybe
Okay.
you should probably plan on doing something else.
That part.
Let's talk about that.
That part.
That
Talk
part,
about that side of
Alexander.
it.
Let's talk about that side.
Instead
Okay,
of
let's talk
instead of
about that
dealing in your
side.
bitterness,
Oh my God.
figure out why it ain't happened for you.
Yes.
Right.
I heard that. Yeah.
That's
That's a whole lot.
real.
We could talk about that on many levels.
You said figure out why. They know why. They know what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they didn't do. They know the times where they missed it. Where I should have did this, but I did that.
And I did,
And then,
exactly.
like you said, listen, I've had an experience where somebody hugged me. I went to support my husband. He was out doing a show, and it was a lady doing a show with him. And you know, I had seen her. You know, I didn't grow up here, so you know, you all know each other in a different way. You know, but I know her, but like we not cool. Like we don't talk on the phone, but like just like music pal. Like
Right.
oh, I see you around. You know, in the like band circuit, right? And I had came back to surprise my husband because I didn't think I was gonna see him before we were going to like Japan, like my first big thing, you know, leaving the country. And I was sad because I was like, well, I'm not gonna get to see him. And they flew me home. Thank you, Lord. I love that camp. They flew me home, and I surprised him. They were on stage.
Surprise is gonna be fucked up. Come on.
Listen.
That's show 2.
Right.
Yeah.
That's show number 2.
Don't play.
No surprises, Mark.
And he
No.
walked off stage and gave me a hug, you know, and I was saying hello to the people in the band. This particular band I had never sang, but I don't really like know them like that, but I know them enough to say hello
Yeah,
and give a
yeah.
say, hey, good to see y'all. This lady, she comes and she hugs me. She's probably like maybe like 25 years older than me. And I always thought she was cool. Like, so when I hugged her, I was like, oh, hey, so good to see you. Da, da, da. She hugged me. She pulled me in, and in my ear, she said, oh, I see you. You went to LA and you came back and now you done got skinny like them skinny bees in LA, huh? And then she pulled back and said, oh, that's so good to see. And then she walked back away, and I was like, what?
Wow.
Major
I
fake.
said, first of all, in my mind,
Yeah.
I've been looking the same way since I was like 15.
Wow.
And since you met me, so what's going on?
Well,
Where
that's
did
because she didn't know what to say. Like when you feeling some kind of way about somebody,
Absolutely.
you don't sometimes so you don't look like an ass. You say something that make you look
Oh
like
my
an ass.
gosh. I was like, why
bigger
would he
one.
say that?
A bigger one.
Instead of just hugging you. And I want to
Just
say
say
something.
hi.
You said something before you started explaining your story. You said they know what they did. They know what they didn't do. But let me tell you this. It ain't 90% of it ain't what you do or what you don't do. Sometimes the stars just got a line for your ass.
You just don't have
Like you can work all day, get up every day, exercise, go to the gym, go to the studio every day, make records every day,
Yep.
and never place nothing.
Yep.
And then you got a dude that says, "Oh, mom, can you buy me a phone?" And he get GarageBand and make a track, and the man walk in the store, be like, "What you doing, son?" "Oh, I'm on my phone." "Oh, let me hear it." "Oh, that's great. Hi, my name is Tommy Mottola. I work for such and such and such." And now your ass is on Michael Jackson record.
Right.
You're on the phone, a song on your phone.
Yeah.
It ain't about you
It's
most
the
of the time.
alignment.
Exactly.
It's timing.
It's timing. It's
Timing
everything.
is everything.
Timing is everything.
purpose.
And purpose.
But the preparation is key.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Stay
because it
prepared,
comes when you're ready.
You gotta come
When
on
the student
with
is
it.
ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah.
And when you are ready, you best believe God will align you. Because I know it in my life, you know, we'll talk about competition and all that stuff. I know in my life when I was disobedient, and there are things that I should not have done when I should have done it. You understand what I'm saying? And I missed stuff. But when you get another opportunity to do it right and you recognize, like, I know what I did wrong, I'm not doing that again, and you recognize it, oh, it's going to come back around for you, and it does. But is that because I was ready and prepared?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
ready because I recognized where I lost it before.
Yeah.
You know, so that's another part of the story. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yes, I love that. We could talk about so much.
I'll say this. I hadn't seen Turhan in almost 25 years.
Yeah.
It had been close to 25, almost 30 years since we had seen each other.
30 years.
It's been 30 years. And I came home and I went to an event and got reconnected with Turhan. The next day, Turhan and I went into the studio And for the next 4 months, every day, we worked.
Yeah.
Those first 4 months, I never knew who he was related to.
Oh,
I never asked.
well,
I didn't know he was the musical conductor of the organization.
yeah.
Never asked, because we were focused on what we were doing.
Yeah.
But when the circumstance presented itself, Turhan gave me 39 records to learn. And this is before there was even a thought of me meeting anybody.
That's all you gave?
He gave me 39 records.
Them the ones that they
I
do
remember,
regularly.
that's all
Right.
you gave me?
Now he gave me 39 records.
Yeah.
But then he did this. He gave me the copies of 2 shows. And this is where you were talking about preparation and knowing what to do, because there's preparation, but then there's also knowing how to prepare.
I want
Right.
to talk about preparation.
You follow what I'm saying? How to
Yes.
prepare. Because I'm going to say this, he gave me the greatest advice
Yes.
anybody could ever give me. Because most of us are going to take the shortcut.
You try to learn the show.
Because what we do is we will learn the show as it's formatted. They're going to go from this song to this song, this song to this song. So I'm only going to learn this verse. I'm only going to learn this section. Turhan said, don't learn the show, learn the songs.
Yes.
My mind, I said, he said, listen to me, idiot. That's not what he called me, but I'm not going to say what he called me. But he said, learn the songs. He said, if you learn the songs, you automatically know the show.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
And that was the difference between me being here today and not. Because one of the founding members of the Tops, Mr. Duke Fakir, love you, Duke. When I met with him, I met him one time. He got ready to leave. And then he stopped and he asked the question, he said, if we consider you for this, you do know you have a lot of songs to learn. And I said, yes, sir. I said, 3 weeks ago, Turhan gave me 39 songs. I said, to date, I've learned 27.
Wow.
Duke
Yeah,
sat
see,
down.
see.
Am I telling the truth? He sat back, and then he sat back.
Powerful.
And he said, wait a minute. He said, Turhan gave you 39 songs, as in 3-9. And in 3 weeks, you've learned 27, as in 2-7. I said, yes, sir. He started calling off song titles. I started calling off lyrics.
There you go.
The next thing he said to me was, so what you were, about a 12? Was that about a
Yeah, why
17
you
shirt?
playing that shit, man?
Am I telling the truth?
Let's get ready. Yes.
You ready?
I didn't hear
'Cause you
anything
ready.
else.
That's
I didn't hear anything
wonderful.
else
That's wonderful.
for 3 months.
Oh my God.
I wake up one morning and there's a text message from Turhan. They're in Australia. Bro, call me as soon as you get up. I call him. He said, Duke said go to the tailor and get fitted. On the 4th of January, the next couple of weeks later, I did my first show. Mind you, first show, the first time I ever sung with the Tops was 4 hours before the first show doing sound check. But I was prepared. Sometimes it's not just preparation, but it's how to prepare.
How to prepare.
And being aligned.
And in a line, it's so true. When I prepare, a lot of people ask me, I'm from 12th and Claremont.
Right.
So a lot of people ask me, how did you ever prepare for Tina Turner? How did you prepare for Cher, Joe Cocker? And I have
these
a
names, right?
yeah. Yeah, and and these guys have been on the gigs with me. I've done a lot of different gigs, from country to pop to blues to R&B. It's not that often that a black girl,
Right. Speak on that.
it's not that often that a black girl gets to do country,
Right.
pop,
Right.
Cherry. R&B we do naturally.
Right.
If I go get a Neo gig, I go get a Monica gig or something, that comes naturally to me. Most of those harmonies are already church harmonies.
Right.
Most of those musicians are already church musicians, but how do you get those other gigs?
Right. That next level gig.
Right.
How do you get that next level gig? Well, here's the preparation for that. So what I would do is I would literally embody that person. The reason why I'm still with Cher right now, since 2008, I've been with Cher.
Longevity.
Nice.
Yeah, it's longevity. It has a lot to do with loyalty. It has a lot to do with how you are on the road. Them being able to be comfortable with you. That has a lot to do with it. It's not just because you can sing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody can sing.
Anybody can sing, but if you have to do a 2-year tour, like I do with Cher, or like I do with Joe Cocker or something, you have to be more than that.
Right.
You have to be able to get along with people. You have to be able to get along with different races.
Yes.
You have to be able to get along with different religions.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to be able to get along with different political views.
Right.
All of these things will come up on a tour bus.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Because you can't hide.
Ooh, you can't hide because the tour bus is
It's
like
only
this
so big.
hallway.
It's only this-
It's this hallway with some bumps. How do you hide from this?
Go get it at bump.
You know what I'm saying? Now, there are so many ways. And Marcus Divine, he knows we've been on the road together, so he knows there are so many ways to deal with that. Me, Marcus knows I am an open person. I love all cultures.
Right.
I can listen to all religions without being judgmental.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I can say my thing, you can say your thing. I don't want to argue back and forth, but we're all different races here, different cultures. There's bound to be some bullshit that comes up on this bus.
Right.
Right? So you just don't have to be a good singer. You could be a good singer and be an asshole.
That part.
You could be a good musician and be an asshole.
Right.
Right? 9 times out of 10, if you're on a tour, that's going to take you up off the bus.
Immediately.
It's going to get you a window or an aisle real soon.
Hey, you catch the wrong tour, they gonna catch you in the middle seat.
Yeah.
They gonna buy it so late.
Yeah.
Oh, you going home tomorrow?
Absolutely.
They'll give you that
So
Greyhound ticket.
preparation is
Hold
key.
on.
I remember when I did Pink.
How about Martha? It won't give you nothing.
And see what I'm saying? When I did Pink, I embodied Pink. When I did Tina, Lord have mercy, I embodied Tina. I went back, I researched. I didn't go back to, like when I did her, it was 2008. I didn't want to see the shows she did in 2006 or 19. I went all the way back. I studied.
Right.
When I do Cher, I am her double. I can sing exactly like Cher.
Right.
Not just my R&B church, what I do. I do a whole lot. I do rock and all that other stuff. But then when you become a backing vocalist for the artist and you are the lead singer for the backing artist, you have to embody that artist.
Exactly.
Whether that means I have to put long hair in my hair, whatever I had to do to get that.
Right.
Whatever I had to do to, I had to study music consistently to not just sound like me, but to sound like them. So there's a difference in the preparation. You know what I'm saying? And because I did so many artists, I'm also a character. I'm like a Ray Charles. I know how to jump from one thing to the other. I know how to jump from a white voice to a black voice.
Right.
There's a big difference. So in any gig you get, you have to prepare for that gig, not what you want to do, but what that artist wants from you, because you are backing that artist up.
Right.
And they want you to be able to do that.
They want you to be able to do it. And the thing is, I think a lot of times with new artists or people like when Mark was saying, you know, they have been doing it a long time and haven't. A lot of times because I think people become focused on their vision.
Their
view,
vision.
What they want. And you're not making music, or even your position that you play is not for you, but it's for the world, or it's for the artists that are working for.
Not at that time.
At
You know,
that
there
time.
comes a time
There
for
comes a
you.
time.
I was just about to
Yeah,
say,
come on, but yeah.
But
that
I'm
don't
saying
fit
in that regard.
aspect in the music business.
Okay.
Because me, I ain't never really been in the music business for nobody else, for no artist.
Right.
Every artist I've ever sung with was, oh, you want me to sing with you? Like, I never did an audition ever in my life.
I haven't either.
Like, you know what I mean?
I've
Like,
never either.
Charlie Wilson came and said, yo, you want to sing with
I
me?
never either.
I remember when Marcus got the
Come
lead
on,
gig,
MD.
and you told me, and Marcus,
it's the
I
truth.
wasn't supposed to be there.
He wasn't supposed to be there. But he got the gig because he listened and gave what they asked for. They didn't ask for you to go in and show all of your running skills.
Well, they didn't ask me anything. That's what the funny thing was. I wasn't supposed to be at the rehearsal. I went with Gerald Hatton. Gerald Hatton had got me to play keys.
Right.
He said, go to rehearsal with me. I said, okay. I'm literally sitting there like this. Kern is up there. They trying to go through rehearsal, and Kern goes, come here. Come here. Sing this note. Not do you know it? Nothing. He said, sing the note. I grabbed the microphone. And they come in like, who's this? They're like, let's Marcus Devine. She's like, I like him. The next day, the guy who was supposed to be there came to rehearsal. I won't say his name because he's still my homie. He came in the rehearsal and was like, and her daddy was like, sorry, man, we don't need you.
Wow.
He protested, so they said, well, we're going to have a whole nother audition because Marcus is here. So they going through audition. Maurice Whitsett, his brother, all them in there. They walk like, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, we have to have another audition. She said, no, we don't. I want Marcus. And the girl turned and said, well, y'all heard what she said? And made everybody leave. So my point is, it's if you looking to be a background singer, all of those things got to come into play that my sister said. But I was always in the industry, and me and T, he can tell you, was to create our own way.
Yeah. Right.
So our preparation was, we woke up, we didn't have a bar. We was our bar.
You were the bar.
You know what I mean? Like, we created our own way. So when those things came about,
right,
you actually called me because you wanted me.
And you know what?
You didn't call me to fit me in to be who you wanted. You called Marcus, like Charlie Wilson called. Hey nephew, you want to go sing with me?
Right.
I don't care.
And you know what?
Like, you know, and literally that's how it was.
I want to piggyback off of my brother Marcus here because it's the truth. The reason why you were talking about earlier about how do you this longevity thing.
Right.
How do you stay with a A-list gig, you know what I'm saying, for that long?
Yeah.
Don't think that you stay with an A-list gig like I have done for 10 to 12 years at a time, like 4 or 5 A-list gigs, because you're just the most incredible singer.
Right. It's your character.
I want to tell you right now,
You have to have
the reason why, and I mean, I do a lot for this gig, but the reason why I'm with Cher is because I am me. I am still that girl from Detroit, from 12th and Claremont, and when she hears me talk, she, you know what I'm saying? The things I say, she's just like,
And it's also
and it's
timing.
real. It's timing. Yes.
And
It's.
a stroke
I
of
am
luck,
who I
too,
am.
For the simple fact,
Okay, come on.
everybody can't put up with that girl from
Okay.
So you understand? So you being yourself won't work on every gig. And I throw myself on the table.
Okay,
I've lost
Marcus.
gigs, like from being me. Hell, the last gig we was on together.
Did you lose that gig?
Because they wanted to fire.
Which one?
Our other sister.
Mario or?
Yeah.
Oh.
They wanted to fire Margarita. And I'm the people person.
Oh.
I said, you fire her, you got to fire her too.
Oh, you did say that?
Yes.
I never said that. Now
But that's the thing.
I didn't know
Niggas gotta eat around here. Everybody can't go home.
No, I didn't know that. I never knew that. I'm glad he's
But see, to
saying
me, I think
this.
that's a great point.
That is. I never knew
judgment.
that.
No judgment till you not ever say
Okay,
that.
come on, Mark.
My thing is, I feel like that's one of the things that make us mess up in this business. That is always, it's me. I gotta think about me. It's gotta be.
Okay.
There needs to be an unspoken union. If T on the gig, T ain't did nothing wrong, and the artists come in feeling themselves and fire T, I'm like, fuck you too, homeboy.
Oh, okay.
Because we make you good every night, my nigga.
Oh, okay.
So you can't fire T and T ain't did nothing wrong. You think again, like, you know what?
Okay.
Let me shut up. But because he fired T, all right, T, man.
Okay.
Be good, bro.
Okay.
And we stick around, guess what they gonna do to me next?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Guess what they gonna do to Smoke next?
Right.
Now,
But if
I
you
can
set some
see
kind
that.
of precedent
You're right.
to be like, you can't fire because you up on the wrong side of it. There you go. One thing, and I'm gonna shut up. I ain't gonna say that.
No, I want you
This
to.
is
Come on,
my
dude.
thing is this. Can't nobody determine how many gigs I'm gonna get. There's no gig worth my.
Okay, absolutely. I believe
worked for
that.
30 freaking
I believe
years.
that. Absolutely.
And everybody I've ever even came across and I've lost a gig, you know what they say? Nigga, I respect you, but you don't just fall for anything.
Now, this is so new. I knew we did Clive Davis.
Because it wasn't even for me to venture
I
message
know.
But you're my brother, so I thought you would have told me that. You know my character. Like, come on, you better tell me.
Listen, y'all.
Oh my God.
Because we keep going, but listen.
Yes.
This is the reason for the Music Lounge at Stonehouse.
Yeah.
Because these are the conversations
Yes.
that we're inviting the world to sit on. Because this is how we've all stayed connected, how we've stayed together,
Yes.
how iron sharpens iron.
Come on.
We make each other better. We toughen each other.
Yes.
We can hear from each other. I can call Marcus and say, I need you to sit on these vocals with me. And Marcus can tell me, okay, Al, that's flat, that's sharp. Sing this like that.
Turhan do it too.
Turhan
Yeah.
will look at me, and Turhan will hit the button and say something real ignorant and be like, okay, I'm gonna need
Yes.
you. I'm gonna need you to get up on top of that note because you're like, yeah, you know. But the thing about it is we make each other better. And that is the purpose, Bianca, of Music Lounge at Stonehouse. Because we're going to be inviting, you guys are going to come back.
Yes,
But we're going to be
I'm
inviting
down.
other artists and producers, and we got managers and attorneys and from all different walks of life that'll be coming in. Just going to sit down and we're just going to kick it and we're just going to talk. So I want to thank Turhan Terrell.
Yes.
I want to thank D. Nick Till,
Yes.
Mr. Marcus Divine,
Yes.
the drummer of drummers, Smoke, Miss Cherry Black,
Yes.
my beautiful co-host, Miss Bianca Loren.
Absolutely.
And I have to thank WJZZ and Cool TV, our leader, the helm of this ship, Mr. Roger Pizambi Jr.
Yes.
Listen, I'm Alexander Morris. This is Bianca Loren. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week at 7 p.m. on Music Lounge at the Stonehouse. God bless.